Students, in the previous video lecture, we have learnt what is meant by doping and how does a semiconductor been added with impurities. So when you are adding impurities to a semiconductor, its conductivity increases. By that, you can construct two types of semiconductors. One is P-type and the other one is N-type. Usually, in the animation which is provided here, you are able to see when in case of a pure silicon material, as the silicon is tetravalent, in the first animation which is going on there, in that animation you are able to see that silicon is sharing 4 valence electrons with another 4 valence electrons. By participating in covalent bond, those all electrons share mutually between two silicon atoms. 4 valence electrons are sharing another 4 valence electron of silicon atom by formation of covalent bond. If at all there is a breakage in the bond, if any bond, if one covalent bond is being broken because of some external means, the electron and if one bond is being broken, there will be 2 electrons coming out, and those 2 electrons are able to move randomly in all possible directions, which is being shown in animation number 2. So in animation 2, one bond is being broken, resulting in 2 electrons. This is first animation and this is second animation. In the first animation, we are able to see that every silicon atom has 4 valence electron, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is sharing its 4 electrons with 1, 2, 3, 4. There will be one more silicon here, there will be one more silicon here. All those electrons will be shared with the other. This is how covalent bond is being formed in case of pure tetravalent semiconductors, whether it may be silicon or whether it may be germanium. As we have discussed, in case of N-type semiconductor, to make a pure semiconductor as N-type semiconductor, pentavalent impurities like phosphorus are doped, and phosphorus has 5 valence electrons. Phosphorus has 5 valence electrons, and pentavalent impurities are called dopants. They are called donors because they donate one excess electron. They each phosphorus atom, when added to pure semiconductor, will provide one excess free electron when it is being doped. So pentavalent impurities are called donors, and these donors are being added into a pure semiconductor. Now check it out. See, there is a silicon. This is silicon. It has 4 valence electrons, silicon 4 valence electron, silicon 4 valence electron. These all are silicon atoms. Okay. And this red color atom which is present here, that is phosphorus. This phosphorus is pentavalent. It has 5 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is one additional electron which is here. This is free electron. Okay. 4 valence electrons of out of 5 valence electrons of phosphorus, 4 valence electrons share bond with silicon atoms, and there is one free electron in excess, and this free electron is able to move randomly. This free electron is able to move randomly. Therefore, when pentavalent impurities, which are called donors, are doped with pure tetravalent semiconductors, an N-type semiconductor is formed. So one electron is free here, that electron is able to move randomly. Each phosphorus atom which is added to a pure semiconductor will increase one excess electron. Overall, p-type semiconductor or n-type semiconductor, they are electrically neutral. We are not just adding the electrons or holes, we are adding the atoms. Remember that. That is in case of n-type semiconductor where pentavalent impurities are doped. Coming to p-type semiconductor, here we have boron, which is silicon in this case is tetravalent. Now there is you can take boron or you can take gallium. In general, we will be choosing gallium, which is trivalent impurity. So trivalent impurities are called acceptor type of impurities. So when a trivalent impurities are doped with tetravalent pure semiconductor, a p-type semiconductor is formed. A p-type semiconductor is being formed when trivalent impurities are doped with tetravalent impurities. So when a trivalent impurity is being added here, what actually happens in this case is trivalent impurity has only 3 valence electrons. Tetravalent semiconductor has 4 valence electrons. Now trivalent impurity, now see, this is silicon and silicon, and this is silicon and boron. Boron is sharing one electron with this, one electron with this, one electron with this, and there is one empty space for this boron because it is trivalent. You can take even gallium also, which is a trivalent impurity, not only boron, you can take gallium even. This has 3 valence electrons. Now what happens is that whenever it is necessary, this gallium or trivalent impurity will take electron, one of the electron of silicon from its neighboring atom. Either it can be from this silicon, or either it can be from this silicon, or this silicon, or this silicon. From any of these 4 silicon atoms, whenever it is necessary, it readily accepts one of the electron from silicon, leaving one hole here. This is one hole. So when you are introducing a trivalent impurity into a pure tetravalent semiconductor, what is being formed? A hole is being generated here, right? That is the why, like in case of a p-type semiconductor, there are holes excess in number, whereas in case of n-type semiconductor, there are electrons excess in number. So each phosphorus atom will add one electron to form n-type semiconductor. Each gallium atom which is added here will be providing one hole to form p-type semiconductor. And remember that p-type and n-type semiconductors are electrically neutral. They are electrically neutral because remember here we are not adding electrons. We are adding impurity, which is an atom. See, phosphorus you are taking. Phosphorus has equal number of protons and as well as electrons. It is a neutral atom. That neutral atom is doped with tetravalent. We are not just adding the electron. We are adding the whole atom, which is impurity, to a pure semiconductor. That is the reason why electrically either N-type semiconductor or P-type semiconductor, they are neutral. If you just touch N-type or P-type, we does not get any electrification. There is no transfer of electric charges just by touching N-type or P-type. You need to provide some potential difference for P-type or N-type. As a result, electrical conduction takes place in both the semiconductors, either N-type or P-type. Only the difference for N-type and P-type is, in case of N-type, electron number is greater. In case of P-type, hole number is greater. In general, we will be choosing N-type semiconductor for construction of all electronic devices rather than preferring P-type semiconductor. Yeah. So, in case of N-type semiconductor, N-type semiconductor, electrons are majority charge carriers. Electrons are majority charge carriers in case of N-type semiconductor. So therefore, number of charge carriers is equal to number of electrons, and number of electrons are much greater than that of number of holes in case of N-type semiconductor. So as a result, here total conduction is because of electron conduction only. Hole current can be neglected. Whereas in case of P-type semiconductor, in P-type semiconductor, holes are majority and electrons are minority charge carriers. So therefore, net current I will be equal to electron current plus hole current. But in case of P-type, electron current is less than hole current. That is the reason why total current will be provided because of hole current. And in this case also, rather than mentioning this, I'll be mentioning total current IE will be equal to electron current, since electron current is greater than hole current in case of N-type semiconductor. So that is how conduction in N-type semiconductor is because of majority charge carriers, which are electrons. Conduction in P-type semiconductors are due to majority charge carriers, holes. Of course, both are charge carriers, electrons and as well as holes, but current produced by minority carriers is very minimum. That is the reason why current produced due to minority carriers is negligible with respect to current produced due to majority charge carriers. Now let us discuss electrical conductivity in a pure semiconductor. As we are dealing with pure semiconductor, number of electrons is equal to number of holes. Because we are talking about pure semiconductor, number of electrons and number of holes are equal. And you are taking a semiconductor. This is semiconductor, and there are two charge carriers, electrons and as well as holes. You are taking such conductor and connecting it to external potential difference. This is battery. When you are providing external potential difference to this semiconductor, as a result, all the electrons and as well as holes tend to move. Electrons tend to move in opposite direction to that of electric field. Holes tend to move in the direction of electric field. As a result, net current will be equal to hole current plus electron current. Hole current plus electron current will be the net current which is provided over here. And now, as we know, whenever electrons are in motion, definitely there will be, like, because electrons are holes, they are under motion due to external electric field. So therefore, electrons and holes move in semiconductor with drift velocity Vd. Drift velocity is denoted with Vd, and whenever an electron is in motion, electron current is equal to I is equal to N, that is number of electrons, E is charge of the electron, A is area of cross section of the conductor, and Vd, that is drift velocity of the electron. This is current produced due to electron motion in the semiconductor. Similarly, hole current will be equal to number of holes into electron, like hole charge is equal to that of electron charge, but it is positive. So I am taking it as E, area of cross section is A, and the drift velocity is VH. Now, when electron and holes, when they are in motion, so overall you can write conduction I is equal to IH plus IE. I is equal to IH is NHEAVH plus NEEAVE, where V is drift velocity of the electron, VH is drift velocity of the holes. You can take EA common from this. I can write it as NHVH plus NEVE. From here I can write I by A is equal to J, which is drift current density J, that is E into NHVH plus NEVE. Let me take this as equation number 1. And clearly you may have doubt in your mind. See, when electrons and holes are in motion in case of a pure semiconductor, electron current is in opposite direction to that of hole current. Then why not they get nullified? See, check it up. I already told you electron current will be in conduction band, hole current will be in valency band. So in a semiconductor, in valency band, electrons are minimum in number, holes are majority charge carriers in valence band. As a result, hole current is produced in valence band, electron current is in conduction band. Overall net current as a bulk in a semiconductor will be current due to electrons and as well as current due to holes. And this is in case of pure semiconductor. I can write current density J is equal to E NH VH plus NE. This is equation for current density. This equation we already have derived. And in current electricity, you will be learning the equation resistance R is equal to rho L divided by A. And we already know Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. This can be written as I into R is rho L divided by A. This is I by A into rho L. What is I by A? I by A is equal to J rho into L. Right? Now, I can just substitute that J value here. This gives you V is equal to, where V is potential difference. Potential difference is equal to J is E rho L into NEVE plus NHVH. This is equation for potential difference. And as we know, let me take this as equation number 2. As we know, electric field and potential difference are related with each other as E is equal to V divided by L. I have got equation for V. I'll just substitute that here. L and L gets cancelled. So it is rho into E into NEVE plus NHVH. That is equation for electric field. And you can write E is charge of the electron. You can just bring this rho to the other side. 1 by rho is equal to E into, bring this E to the other side and multiply it inside. It is Ne into VE divided by capital E plus NH into VH divided by capital E. But in current electricity, you will be learning that sigma is equal to 1 by rho, where sigma is called conductivity. This is electrical conductivity. 1 by rho can be written as sigma. So sigma is equal to E into Ne mu E plus NH mu H, where mu E is equal to VE divided by capital E and mu H is equal to VH divided by capital E. These are called mobilities. That is called mobility of the charge carriers in semiconductor, where mu is called mobility of the charge carriers. So all these equations you need to keep it in your mind. You need to practice this derivation for once or twice so that you can remember all these equations which are helpful in solving problems. Equation for conductivity of a semiconductor is sigma is equal to E into Ne mu E plus NH mu H. Okay. Now, as we know, for p-type semiconductor, total conductivity is equal to conductivity of holes. So therefore, sigma can be only written as majority charge carriers are conduction of holes. So that's the reason why you will be writing it as NH mu H into E. For n-type semiconductor, net conduction is dominated due to electrons. So therefore, sigma will be equal to Ne mu E into E. Of course, it does not mean that in p-type semiconductor there will not be electron current. There will be electron current, but electron current is less in magnitude than that of hole current for p-type semiconductor. That's the reason why electron current we generally neglect theoretically. Similarly for n-type also. So this is equation for electrical conductivity in case of a pure semiconductor. Number of silicon atoms per meter cube is this. That means in case of a pure semiconductor, the electron number, the number density of charge carriers is 5 into 10 power 28 number density. And this is doped simultaneously with 5 into 10 power 22 atoms per meter cube of arsenic and 5 into 10 power 20 per meter cube atoms of indium. Arsenic and indium both are dopants which we are adding into silicon. Calculate the number of electrons and the number of holes. Given that number density, it is 1.5 into 10 power 16 per meter cube, and is the material n-type or p-type. After finally calculating number of electrons and number of holes, you need to find out whether this is p-type or p-type semiconductor or n-type semiconductor. Okay. Now, see, we are adding some dopants. Number of dopants of arsenic is equal to 5 into 10 power 22 per meter cube. This is number of dopants of arsenic, and number of dopants of indium is 5 into 10 power 20. per meter cube. And we are doped with these two simultaneously, arsenic and as well as indium. And remember, this arsenic is pentavalent. And indium is trivalent. Trivalent impurity is acceptor type. Pentavalent impurity is donor type. So therefore, as a pentavalent impurity number is greater, so clearly you can see that 5 into 10 power 22 is greater than 5 into 10 power 20. Therefore, number of electrons, it's not number of electrons in excess in pure semiconductor is 5 into 10 power 22. So these are excess number of electrons present because of arsenic. So as a result, what would happen now? Number of electron will be greater than that of number of holes. As a result, it become N-type semiconductor. This is N-type semiconductor. So as it is a N-type semiconductor, you can write the material is N-type semiconductor. Therefore, conduction is only due to conduction of electrons, majority charge carriers. Right. Now you are supposed to calculate the total number of holes and total number of electrons. So in order to find out total number of holes and total number of electrons, what you need to do? See, we are not only adding arsenic, we are adding indium also. So therefore, I can just write Ne dash is equal to number of electrons minus number of holes. Number of electrons which are in additionally generated is 5 into 10 power 22 minus number of holes which are being added because of trivalent impurities are doped, that is 5 into 10 power 20. This gives you 500 minus 5 into 10 power 20, right? And Ne dash is equal to, that means difference in the electron number and hole number we are calculating, that is Ne dash, which is equal to 500 minus 5, it is 495 into 10 power 20 per meter cube. And we are being given total charge carriers, which is 1.5 into 10 power 16. So as we already have learned that N is equal to N square is equal to Ne into NH. From here you can write Ne is equal to N square divided by NH. This equation we have already learned in the previous articles. So number of electrons which you can write is N square. N is given as 1.5 into 10 power 16. 1.5 whole square into 10 power 16 square is 32 divided by number of holes which are being provided is 495 into 10 power 20, right? This gives you number of electrons in the semiconductor. You need to calculate this. So approximately it is 1.5 whole square will be 3 into 10 power 32 divided by 495 into 10 power 20. You need to calculate this. You will be getting some answer. That gives you number of electrons.